Thank you for joining us. Today's webinar is titled, Are You Talking to Me? And has a special focus on identifying and leveraging the common communication styles for project managers and salespeople. Our guest speaker today is Ted Chrzanowski, founding principal of the HR Group, a PSA Business Solutions partner specializing in workforce and talent management. It is a great pleasure to introduce Ted. Ted?
Thank you very much, Jennifer, and good morning or good afternoon to whoever's out there. I wanted you to know that when Jennifer asked if HR Group, my company, would participate in the Project Management Appreciation Month, we told her that we'd be pleased to contribute. After all, we've been part of the PSA family since we have been preferred solutions providers for PSA for a number of years now. Jennifer suggested that our focus would be to provide tips for improving communications, specifically communications between project managers and sales staff. So our objective was to have better quality communications in order to improve teamwork, efficiency, and productivity. Why was HR Group selected to participate? Well, for the past 20 years, we've been working with scores of organizations, including about 24 PSA members. And Jennifer knew from our conversations that when we asked organizations what hurts the most, what their most troublesome workplace issues were, effective communications was always near the top of that list. So we agreed that our goal today would be to help project managers and salespeople, if any of them are out there listening, to learn three things: how to understand their preferred communication style, how to recognize and appreciate the styles of others, and how to adapt styles in order to better communicate with others. Specifically, for today's program, specifically communicating with sales personnel. Let me say it again: how to understand your preferred style, how to recognize and appreciate the styles of others, and how to adapt styles. So we chose the title, Are You Talking to Me? The subtitle could very easily be, Are You Listening to Me? So the bottom line objective for the webinar is to get project managers to understand that most of them are different than typical salespeople in their styles, and that they will improve performance and minimize stress if they learn how to adapt their communication style when speaking with salespeople. As Jennifer said, we have a lot of material to cover, so jot down notes as we talk or questions, and either enter them on the screen or we will have time to get to them at the end of the webinar. For this next slide, slide 2, it's not about. Now, each of us has a unique communication style, ways that we prefer to communicate, and ways in which we prefer to be communicated with. These preferred styles may be different, but I want to make sure I make something clear about them. Styles are not either good or bad. Styles are not right or wrong. And the goal today is not to imply that people should change or fix their style. Rather, it's about differences, recognizing differences, and then adapting your style to more effectively communicate with others. How to understand yourself and others is our next slide. We talked about understanding your style, recognizing the style of others, and I want you to know that the various styles are observable. So by thinking about yourself, sort of looking at yourself, and then watching others, you can usually pinpoint your preferred style and what their preferred style actually is. There are 4 core styles: people who are drivers, people who are outgoing, people who are agreeable, and those who are analytical. We'll talk about each style. But as we do that, try to figure out which one is most like you and which one may be most like a member of your sales team. Drivers. They're results-oriented, quick decision makers, bold and aggressive. Outgoing. They enjoy people contact. They have an optimistic outlook. They enjoy lots of activity and verbalize. Very often they verbalize a lot. Agreeable. They're logical thinkers. They enjoy a relaxed pace. They're systematic. They enjoy routine. They do not like surprises or to be rushed, and they may be slow to change. Analytical. They analyze facts and data. They focus on accuracy. They follow high-quality standards. They are thoughtful and cautious and prefer to have procedures to follow. Now, some of you might think, but I'm a bit like a couple of those. Well, you're probably right, because we all have some of each of these styles in us. It's just that some tendencies are stronger than others. Think of it as a recipe. Some have more of this and some have more of that, but everything is in there. At this point about mixed styles or combination of styles, take a look at the words outside the boxes, specifically reserved and expressive. What we've found in our work is that project managers and operations staff members tend to be reserved. They're typically a combination of analytical and agreeable types. So these reserved people, project manager types, can be described as cooperative. They like to have guidelines to follow. They focus on facts and data, and they prefer to adhere to standards, and they don't like to be surprised or hurried. On the other hand, many, if not most, of the salespeople we've encountered are expressive. They're outgoing drivers. They can be described as change agents, sort of shoot from the hip types. They bristle with new, often untested ideas. They are enthusiastic, fast-forward types who want results through people more than through facts and data. You can see where I'm going with this. Think about the fact, proven fact. They were naturally drawn to the sort of work that rewards and satisfies us. As a result, reserved people are often found in operations and project manager type positions. Expressive people are often in sales positions. So when these two different styles come together, you have expressives, well, think extroverts, bumping up against reserved people, think introverts. Two very different styles. As I said, this isn't good or bad or right or wrong. It's just that these two styles behave very differently. And to communicate effectively, to work as a team and promote efficiency, they have to learn to adapt to one another. They have to get onto one another's wavelength. And we said that individual styles are observable, and there's another style indicator. Some of us are task-oriented. Some of us are people-oriented. Don't want to go down a bunny trail and get into a lot of detail here, but when you see yourself in the looking glass, or when you observe one of your contacts in sales, think about these options as well. Is that person most focused on tasks or on people? Generally, project managers focus on succeeding through the critical evaluation of facts and figures, data and logic. They're not driven by emotions. They're not outgoing or terribly animated. That's just the way they are. However, sales staff emphasize getting things done through people. They think more in terms of getting close to others and having friendly contact. They enjoy being expressive and humorous rather than getting into the weeds with detail and analysis. So ask yourself, if you're a project manager, are you more task-oriented or people-oriented? And how about your counterpart in sales? Do they focus on tasks or more on people? These are two very different styles, styles that need to adapt in order to communicate effectively. Words that don't work. Here's what often happens. Salesperson barges into the office of a project manager and launches. They launch into their latest really, really big thing. They're full of enthusiasm and excitement. They're using words like those on the slide. This is new. This is kind of risky. It's an educated guess. It's innovative. As a result of these words that don't work with the management style, there's a major mismatch in styles. Extrovert versus introvert. Expressive versus reserved. People versus task. So what's a project manager to do? Well, most project managers we have worked with have a hardwired survival coping skill. tell the salesperson to calm down, which, by the way, will only make them more upset. If that doesn't work, the second project manager coping skill is to tell the salesperson to just shut down, as in, please stop talking. That approach will only make them talk longer and louder because they're thinking you're not listening. Best to let them rant. Let them finish. Then say, I can see you're really excited and eager to deal with this new, really big thing. But to make sure I don't miss something, tell me this. What is the most important thing you want me to do in the long term? What is the most important thing I need to do in the short term? What do you need as soon as possible from me to support this project of yours? Chances are they do have something important, at least to them, that they're trying to tell you, even though they weren't communicating it well. Getting them to focus on responding to those three simple questions, long-term, short-term, and now, will provide the project manager with some information that they may need in order to evaluate the proposal. And frosting on the cake, the project manager might add, I'm going to say back to you what I heard, just to make sure that we're on the same page, and ask if you got it right. A process like this will slow the sales type down, force them to think about what they really want, provide at least some necessary information, and allow the project manager to stay centered and controlled. It will also promote teamwork and efficiency. Okay, let's turn the table around. How does a project manager get their point across to a sales type? Remember, it's all about adapting. Don't approach the situation used like those on the slide. Consciously adapt your natural style. Kick it up a notch. If you go in there saying, we need uniformity, it requires study, standardization is what this is all about, we have to follow instructions, you don't want to make the salesperson roll their eyes and look at their watch. You know that your styles don't match, and you don't want to clash with them. Prepare to step out of your comfort zone. Heck, rehearse if you have to get this thing right. You don't want them thinking, here we go again. He's always asking for details and timelines and looking at all the things that might go wrong. I'll make sure to smile politely, even though I want to pull my hair out. Prepare for the meeting by outlining what the critical issues or questions are from your point of view. And be prepared to present them concisely. They don't have a long attention span. Keep the focus at the start of the meeting. Acknowledge that the sales type may tend to be fast-forward, innovative types, someone willing to take risks, but offer that you need some additional data or further explanations in order for you to support their sales initiative in a positive way. Keep the focus on teamwork. How can you collaborate to achieve success? Remember, if you adapt to their style, get on their wavelength, you promoted a win-win situation. Where's the do work? This slide has a couple words that project managers should keep in mind when dealing with sales staff. Adapt your style. Think of phrases like those we're about to go into to open the door to effective communications between two distinct styles. Try this. Let's work closely so I can get the information I need for this to be done as quickly as possible. Let's focus on results and how we can get this done together. I know that things can change, but let's collaborate so the change doesn't slow us down. And let's not beat around the bush. For this to be successful, let's be direct with one another. And just in case there's some sales folks listening out there, please take a look at several of the words that do work when you're dealing with a project manager and operations staff. Try this out. Think about being precise as possible when dealing with them. Plan ahead before talking to them. They'll be more accepting of your sales type. Try to get your ducks in a row. If you're all enthusiasm and excitement but have no detail, it will slow down the process. Accuracy will support acceptance of your plan. If you can illustrate how what you want to do has been successfully done elsewhere, don't keep it a secret. Provide the source as proof that you have a solid idea, and don't present as if you're out of focus. If you present in a rational, stable manner, you'll buy more from the project manager. How to recognize behaviors and emotions. Our goal for this webinar is to help project managers and salespeople, as I said, if they're out there, to learn 3 things. How to understand your preferred communication, how to identify and appreciate the style of others, and how to adapt your style in order to better communicate with others. The key is to be able to recognize different styles, your own unique style, as well as the style of others. Remember, the styles are observable. This slide will help you to identify who has which style by thinking about the emotions that are displayed through their actions. Think back to the core styles that we discussed in the beginning. Urgent usually links to driver type people. Optimism and outgoing go together. Passive people and agreeable are in step. And worrisome and analytical are also in lockstep. So think about what your style is. It's a good style, but it's not the only style. Except that if you only communicate with one style, you're not opening the door to successful communications with other styles. If you're a project manager dealing with salespeople in your organization, review these slides and practice how to adapt your style to improve teamwork, efficiency, and productivity through effective communications. 3 questions. To determine the style and words that work, are those people you're talking with expressive or reserved? Are they focused on tasks or people? And what emotion do they display? That's it in a nutshell. Takeaways really are to think about words that don't work, words that do work. 3 questions to guide you. So I want to thank you very much. If you have questions or observations, we're here to hear them.
Thank you, Ted. We appreciate your time today. Feel free to reach out to Ted or the HR group. Their contact information is up on the screen. Also, we encourage you to check out the Project Management Committee website for additional resources or tools. Ted, again, we appreciate your time and we encourage everybody to reach out to you. Thank you so much for participating in today's event.
Thank you very much for inviting me.